March 15th, 44 BC. The most famous political murder in history. Julius Caesar, dictator of Rome, walks into the Theatre of Pompey for what he thinks is just another Senate meeting. He has no idea that within minutes he'll be lying in a pool of his own blood, betrayed by the very men he trusted most. The conspiracy began just weeks earlier. Marcus Brutus, Gaius Cassius Longinus, and Decimus Brutus, 3 men who would change the world with their daggers. Cassius was a battle-hardened general who'd survived the catastrophic defeat at Carrhae. Brutus was Caesar's close friend, possibly even his illegitimate son through Caesar's affair with his mother Servilia. And Decimus. He was Caesar's trusted ally, which made his betrayal cut the deepest. These weren't Caesar's enemies. Most of the 60 conspirators were his friends and supporters, but they watched in horror as Caesar accumulated unprecedented power. In February 44 BC, he was declared dictator perpetuo, dictator for life. To Romans, who'd overthrown their kings 5 centuries earlier, this was unthinkable. The Republic was dying, and they believed only Caesar's blood could save it. The conspirators chose the Ides of March deliberately. Caesar was leaving Rome on March 18th for a military campaign against the Parthians. It was now or never. That morning, Caesar's wife Calpurnia begged him not to go. She'd had nightmares, terrible omens. Caesar initially agreed to stay home, but then Decimus arrived. Using their friendship, he convinced Caesar that the Senate was waiting to honor him. Caesar went. As Caesar entered the Curia of Pompey, the conspirators surrounded him under the pretense of presenting petitions. Suddenly, Tullius Cimber grabbed Caesar's toga. It was the signal. Servilius Casca struck first, slashing at Caesar's neck but only grazing him. Caesar fought back, stabbing Casca with his stylus and crying out in Latin, "Casca, you villain! What are you doing?" Then the others closed in. Daggers flashed. Blood sprayed. 23 times they stabbed him. Caesar tried to fight, but there were too many. When he saw Brutus approaching with his dagger raised, something inside him broke. According to the historian Suetonius, Caesar looked at the man he'd loved like a son and said in Greek, "Kai su, teknon," you too, child? Shakespeare would later immortalize this as et tu, Brute. Caesar pulled his toga over his head, refusing to let them see him die. He collapsed at the base of Pompey's statue, his former rival in the Civil War, now witnessing his revenge from beyond the grave. The physician Antistius later examined the body and determined that of the 23 wounds, only the second one, a stab to the chest, was actually fatal. The conspirators called themselves the Liberatores, the Liberators. They believed they'd saved the Republic. They were catastrophically wrong. Caesar's assassination didn't restore the Republic, it destroyed it. The Roman people were enraged. Caesar had been wildly popular with the common citizens. Mark Antony delivered a devastating funeral oration that turned the mob against the assassins. They fled Rome in fear for their lives. But Caesar had planned for this. His will named his 18-year-old great-nephew Octavian as his heir and adopted son. What followed was another brutal civil war. In 43 BC, Octavian, Mark Antony, and Lepidus formed the Second Triumvirate. At the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC, they crushed the Liberatores. Both Brutus and Cassius committed suicide, Cassius using the very dagger he'd plunged into Caesar. The final war came at Actium in 31 BC, where Octavian defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra. In 27 BC, the Senate gave Octavian the title Augustus. He became Rome's first emperor, ruling for 41 years and ushering in the Pax Romana, 2 centuries of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The conspirators thought they were killing a tyrant to save the Republic. Instead, they murdered the Republic itself. Caesar's death didn't prevent the rise of an emperor, it guaranteed it. The man they killed became a god. The system they tried to save was buried with him. and Rome would never be a republic again.